Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about what I believe is the strangest zodiac sign. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people. Well, I'm going to start off with Aries. Well, with Aries, it's hard for me to see them being the strangest or most bizarre of the zodiac signs. Aries is just very direct and straightforward. They have exude often very good leadership qualities and prowess. They're very single-minded, even though they're not a fixed sign. They don't really deviate much from what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, and they're just people that often want to be in the front, whether it's online or when they're walking, and they want to be often at the point at the starting in front of everybody else. And Aries could be volatile and quick-tempered, forgives and forget easily. I don't think they're very hard to understand, or there's nothing really quirky or idiosyncratic about them. So I'm going to say no to Aries. Now going to Taurus. Now Taurus, it's hard to say that they'd be the strangest of the zodiac signs because Taurus is very basic. There's something very regular and steady about Taurus. They're not ones that are going to be doing anything overly non-conforming, anything unique or different. I would say Taurus of all the zodiac signs probably is least likely to innovate or invent, even though in a number of cases you will have Aquarius on the MC in a solar or natal chart for Taurus, but it's not one that really likes to go against the grain or do anything which is going to be overly unorthodox. So I would say no to Taurus. Now going to Gemini. Well, Gemini certainly is a sign that could qualify or be a viable candidate for the most of the, as far as strangest signs. They could be very mercurial and very, sometimes even dual natured. Gemini will often, it could be very contradictory, go one way and then go completely the other direction, which others may perceive as strange. But Gemini is also, I see them as a sign. Gemini is often just simply, very friendly. They could be very fickle and changeable, but I don't know if they're quite the strangest sign. They could actually be very close to it, but I don't. But I will tell you at the end of the video whether I think it is actually them or not. Again, they could be very contradictory, but I don't know if they're the strangest of the zodiac signs. Now going to Cancer. Well, the zodiac sign Cancer can certainly, to some they may seem strange because Cancer negative manifestation can really be overly suspicious, a little bit paranoid, but they're very introverted, introspective people. They're actually very basic, and I think they're easily, they're understood easily. They're often very traditional, so it's hard for them for me to say that Cancer is the strangest of the zodiac signs. They're often, again, very introverted, very homebodies. They're often connected with ancestral worship and things that are nostalgic. And they're not ones to really, and they can be very discreet, very conventional. So it's hard for me to say that they're the strangest of the zodiac signs. Now, going to Leo. Well, Leo is a sign that is very, they have creative ability, but they're often very conservative. I think people understand often what Leo is about very readily. They could be very domineering and even sometimes downright ostentatious, I think, as well, very showy. I don't think, there's a lot of people out there that do like to be popular, that do like to be showy, that want to flaunt their positive qualities and their abilities. So it's not like, and that's what Leo can do with a very strong propensity. So it's hard for me to say that Leo would be the strangest of the zodiac signs. Yes, Leo likes to stand out, but it's usually not doing anything overly odd or bizarre, overly unorthodox. So I would say that Leo is not the strangest of the zodiac signs. Now, going to Virgo. Well, Virgo is a sign that can be, I mean, Virgo, of course, is very earthy. They're very pragmatic and practical. They can often be very critical and judgmental. They could criticize, but often ones not to create. I mean, don't get me wrong, Virgo can be very cerebral, very intellectual. They're ones, but they're often ones that are about, about service to others. They're often about where they I mean, this is a sign associated with criticism more so than the others. And I think because of that, Virgo can be reluctant to be nonconforming or do anything that would be perceived as bizarre, unusual, or strange. So for those reasons, I would have a hard time saying that Virgo would be the strangest of the zodiac signs. Now, going to Libra. Well, Libra really is actually, I mean, they have their, I mean, being an air sign, they're very, could be articulate, have very refined taste. They're not, given, I should say, being ruled by Venus, they can have very refined taste, but there are ones that it's hard for me to say that they would be the most bizarre or the strangest of the zodiac signs. They actually can be very basic people. They're ones that often will ingratiate themselves with others. They could be relationship oriented. They could be about very strongly connected with concepts and ideas and intellectual sociability, bouncing ideas off others. But I don't see this as being overly, eclectic or overly bizarre, unusual, or unorthodox or unconventional. They're not ones that are really the ones that will go against the grain, so to speak. It's not ones that you would look at and say that this person is very strange. They're often just very, regular people that like to socialize, and that's how I see Libra as very strongly. So I don't think Libra is the strangest of the zodiac signs. Now we're gonna go to Scorpio. Scorpio could very well be the most complex of the zodiac, or one of the most complex. So one of the most complex of the zodiac signs. Pisces, Scorpio could be very complex. Scorpio is hard to understand because their manner is such where they'll give off certain vibes to others, but it's often not what they're really trying to express. Scorpio could be very secretive and very much to themselves, about their privacy and their solitude. But the thing about it is, a lot of it is because they're just very guarded and they're misconstrued by others. Because of this, Scorpio may unequivocally be the most misunderstood of the zodiac signs. Their aloofness can be seen as snobbery, or the fact that they're very guarded may actually look like they're being mean. They could be looking out of you at the corner of their eye and looking very suspiciously at you, but it's often because it's a mechanism because they don't want to be hurt. But Scorpio is not known for really overly bizarre behavior. They don't let many people in their lives anyway. So even if they were to express that, this would not be seen by many. But I don't see Scorpios exhibiting overly bizarre behavior on any consistent basis. So I don't think Scorpio is the most strangest of the zodiac signs. Now going to Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius, of course, they could be, very jocular, very adventurous. They often like to be that life of the party. They like to just kind of be very easygoing. Again, being very jovial. They often are about playing, practical jokes on others. They're about expansion, but it's not so much expanding to the point where they would be perceived as being overly bizarre or strange or overly unconventional or unorthodox. They are not ones that are going to do the things, saying, "Oh wow, look at that. That's awfully weird. That's awfully strange. Why is this person doing that?" Sagittarius, I mean, mutable energy. They often don't want to, make waves. I mean, even though they can be very blunt and they could be speaking their veritable truth, but it's not a sign, and it can be very sports-minded and athletic, but they're not ones that would be overly, I would say, unorthodox or overly bizarre or strange. So I say no to Sagittarius. Now going to Capricorn. Well, Capricorn would be a sign I'd be very hard pressed to say that they would be overly, overly strange, because Capricorn is about conventionality, consistency, being orthodox. They're ones that are completely against, or in many cases, being unorthodox, going against the grain. Capricorn will often be the one that'll stick to old, true and tried methods of accomplishing things as opposed to new methods. I mean, some of you may have heard about this autonomous vehicle that has come out. I don't know how popular it is, or how many are made right now, or if it's available to everybody. But apparently there was some innovation with an autonomously driven vehicle where it's self-driven, where you don't even have to do anything manually apparently to drive it. A Capricorn would be the one of all the signs that might want to stick with the ones that are driven manually, because Capricorn, I think, can often have anathema more so than other signs to things that are unique or new or different, unless, say, they are a Capricorn, meaning there could be some modifying indicators in the chart, such as being on the cusp of Aquarius, as far as the sun, moon, or ascendant would go, Uranus in the first house, Uranus well aspected, thing, or Mercury, or somebody with sun in Capricorn with Mercury in Aquarius might be a little bit more about, things that are eclectic or unique or different. But it's really hard for me to say that Capricorn would be the strangest of the zodiac signs. They are known for their consistency, their longevity in doing certain things. It's often things that are about what's made them successful, what's been successful for them in the past. So I'd say no to Capricorn. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, well, now going to the zodiac sign Aquarius. Well, Aquarius could certainly be a viable candidate as far as the strangest of the zodiac signs, because Aquarius is ruled by, not just Saturn, but Uranus as well. And Uranus can be associated with the unusual, the bizarre, the strange. It certainly very well could be the strangest of the zodiac signs. I've had in Aquarius could be very unpredictable as well. They will often do the things that others would never dare do. There's an audacious energy and non-conforming energy, of course, associated with Aquarius. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Nick Wallenda is that first person. I think it was to tightrope the Grand Canyon without netting, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He has a sun in Aquarius, and this is the person. I had an Aquarius rising friend one time that drove. You might have heard me say, some of you may have heard me say this in some other videos, that one time, instead of taking just the conventional route into a parking lot at a shopping center, he took, I guess you could say, the unorthodox or unconventional approach, and went up the grass hill to get over to get in there. So Aquarius certainly could be a viable candidate. I'll tell you at the end of the video whether I think it's them or not. Now going to Pisces. Well, Pisces is a sign that could be a candidate for the strangest, because a Pisces, in theory, and I do concur with this theory, some may concur or agree, some may not, that they're an amalgamation of the previous 11 zodiac signs. So they got like this, I see them as, perceive them as having this blending of the 11 zodiac signs. So they're very nondescript. They defy classification because they're so multifaceted. They're like Gemini in a way, because Gemini, of course, could be very versatile and very diversified, but because Aquarius does, Pisces being the amalgamation of these other signs in theory, which of course, again, I concur with, but they they have some, Taurus energy in them, some Capricorn. So yeah, I don't know if I put them at the as far as the most the strangest of the zodiac signs, but they definitely can be a viable candidate because they have all these different qualities, and also they're so ill. I mean, Pisces is, I mean, unequivocally, I think the most illogical of the zodiac signs. Remember, there's a reason that, I mean, Mercury is in its detriment and fall in Pisces. So, but and I'll tell you at the end of the video whether I think it's imminent. Well, actually, no, I am at the end of the video, and but I'm gonna say that it is. I think it's irrebuttably Aquarius being the strangest of the zodiac signs because Aquarius, again, they're ruled by Uranus, not just Saturn, but Uranus. They can be, I mean, they can be known for their idiosyncratic behavior. They will do the things often that others may not attempt. I mean, again, going back to Nick Walenda, going on that being that, I believe, that first person, that tightrope over the Grand Canyon without netting or supporting the Sun in Aquarius. They will be the ones that will often do the things that others may not dare to do, and they'll do these things that you'll not even really think of. Remember that Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. I think Aquarius is actually the smartest of the zodiac signs. I know that some Geminis, Virgos out there, even Libras may dispute this and not agree with this, but I do believe, I mean, it's not, Aquarius is not just being the strangest of the zodiac signs. They're also, I believe, the smartest of the zodiac signs on average. But the thing about it is, because they're also very innovative. I mean, I had a friend of mine with Aquarius Ascendant, a former friend. He did something odd one time. He took like some kind of like action figure or something, or it was a plastic toy soldier or action figure, and he put like a bottle rocket or something, connected it to it, and shot it off with the action figure connected to. And then there was another time this same Aquarius rising person took something, was throwing it at somebody's home, and did some with some tissue a certain way, and he wetted the tissue certain, and he threw it at the person's home, and it was sticking to the home and the person's house. And I mean, this is a sign that is just not about, I mean, they're about their idiosyncratic behavior, they're about their unusual, the bizarre, unpredictable behavior. And again, going back to, and had another Aquarius rising friend, going back to the story about this person driving up the grass hill to get into a parking lot. There's something about Aquarius that's just so non-conforming, and it's just that need. Sometimes I wonder if it's just the need to be different, just for the sake of being different, just because it's going against what is conforming and what is perceived as normal. Normal is subjective, I believe. Normal can be connected with what the average person does and what the majority do. Aquarius, their theme is like, well, just because the average person does this doesn't mean I'm going to fall in suit and do the same thing as this other person does. I mean, this is it's kind of like, a person in a lightning storm wearing some GPS backpack equipment or something that conducts electricity, and saying that they were perfectly fine in doing this because they discarded some other things that would conduct electricity, and saying that they were perfectly safe in doing so, because Aquarius is just kind of, again, it's just that they epitomize non-conforming energy. And it is, again, it could be seen as very strange to others, and people just don't really understand Aquarius very well as well. I mean, maybe it has something to do with them being ruled by, their two outer, I mean, one of the outer planets being Uranus, and I just wonder if people don't even completely understand that planet 100%. But anyway, I do think that Aquarius is, again, irrebuttably, I believe they are the strangest of the zodiac signs. And this is Edwin Learnard, and until next time, people, stay well.